Can you start?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, all. Welcome to the 100th session of President Technical Forum. I welcome Rajat VP for leading the event. Welcome, Rajat.
Thanks, Arvind. So, welcome all. It's a proud moment for us to celebrate the 100th session of the Pradhuni Technical Forum. So, I would request Smita, Vice President of Pradhuni, as well as Convener of Technical Forum, to give away the welcome note. Smita, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Rajit, and welcome everyone to the Technical Forum Sessions 100th event. So it's been a very long journey. We started the Technical Forum Sessions from 2015, and we started it from Technopark Park Center with a Selenium session. It was a workshop. So when we started the Technical Forum session, our main goal was to introduce new skills and help employees to upskill so that they get placed and they can achieve their career goals. So and still we are continuing the journey. Currently we are in 2021. So far we have completed around 100 sessions. There was a slight hike when the COVID happens into 2020. So instead of the physical sessions that we used to conduct, we started online sessions. So we could, from the lockdown period, we could conduct around 75 sessions online. So today also we have a session on AI, the social impact of AI. So during this time, we could conduct around 100 sessions and mainly on various technologies like development side, QA side, project management, UX, and multiple areas. Today, so when we look back, we are happy that we could cover multiple areas and we could improve the learning skills and we could help people to upskill. And we special category is freshers. So freshers are we started the freshers forum in last year. So we could train a lot of freshers and help them to get placed. So we are happy, and then I would like to invite welcome the guest of the day. So I'll start with Mr. Srikumar. Srikumar. He's a center head, Tata Elxsi, Trivandrum. Then welcome you, sir. And then I would like to invite the CEO, IT Park CEO, John M. Thomas. He's not physically available here since he's traveling. So he provided a welcome note for us. And then let me welcome the speaker of the day, Robin Tommy. He's going to take the session for the day. And I would like to thank all the participants and Pradhuni members for joining this event. Welcome everyone. Over to you, Rajat.
Thanks, Smita. So, like all of you know, like Pradhuni is a welfare organization of IT employees across Kerala, and it was formed with a three-dimensional vision to contribute to cultural, social, and technical aspects of the society. So, in this particular thing, we are focusing on the technical aspect of the society, and we are really proud to host this inaugural event of 100th session. So after the COVID pandemic hit us, we were able to conduct around 70 plus sessions, workshop plus meetups and all. So that's what technical forum intend for, like upskilling and reskilling the IT employees of across Kerala. and we were able to upskill a lot of people and get trained in various technologies, various hot technologies like data science, machine learning, all those kind of things. And we were able to make people placed in different organizations. And we have some few initiatives like Freshers Forum, Freelance Forum, which like Smita took pain of coordinating these things. And we have a lot of freshers and freelancers working under the umbrella of Pradhwani Freshers Forum, as well as Pradhwani freelance forum and all. So it's really a proud moment. Like 100 is a very good number in a few times, in a short time span we were able to achieve. So like 100 days of training, 100 different topics, 100 different or different trainers, and 30,000 plus attendees or stakeholders. It's a proud moment for us. So we got an eminent personality for the inauguration function as well, like Sri Kumar sir, who is center head of Tata Alexei. I'm not trying to stretch things to like explaining things of technical forum and all. You all will be waiting the word for the words from Sri Kumar sir. So I invite Sri Kumar sir to give away the inaugural speech plus inauguration of this 100th session inaugural event. Sri Kumar sir, please.
Thank you. I hope I am audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Good morning and welcome to this session once again. Your ladies and gentlemen, for the Pradhwani team, Mr. Robin Tommy. I understand that the Technopark CEO is traveling and he's not unable to attend the session today. Indeed, it's a very proud moment for Pradhwani, and I would like to take this opportunity at the outset to congratulate them for achieving this milestone of 100 technical forums in a short span of time. Particularly when I understand that 75 of them happened during the pandemic time. It's really a noteworthy and commendable effort by the team. Let me congratulate the team for this very excellent achievement. I would also like to thank the team for giving me this opportunity to participate in this event, in this 100th event. And that gives me a great understanding of Pradhwani activities also. Technical forums and technical trainings which Pradhwani have been conducting all through these days have enabled our IT crowd, the population here, the community here, to enhance their knowledge, to keep themselves updated of what's happening latest in the technology, and keep themselves prepared for whatever updates that are going to happen in the area of jobs and employment, and what all technologies and what all changes are due to happen in the years to come. We have seen this change happening during the last 1.5 years when the pandemic struck us. The mode of working, the style of working, office spaces, work from home, we witnessed a lot of technology change that happened, and most of it happened because of the digital era, which is currently or fortunately sweeping through the entire globe. We've had the industrial revolution happening long time back, and I would say the next revolution is right now going on, the digital revolution. And pandemic in one way has given this opportunity for enhancing and strengthening the digital revolution that's sweeping across. And when we talk about the next generation revolution that's going to come in with AI leading it, it's going to change the way we work, the way we live, the way we get ourselves quality time with our family members, with our entertainment. Everything is going to get affected by AI. While the previous revolutions actually affected organizations and communities associated to industry, AI is going to affect every walk of life. That's going to be the big difference here. It's already started showing. It's already started showing in the manner in which the connectivity across the globe is affecting us or helping us or spoiling us or irritating us. It's already showing its effect. It was initially assumed that all these technological sweeping changes is going to be disruptive in nature, but as we see today, it is going to be of great help and assistance in times of distress. Also, it's going to change the entire scenario of how we're going to conduct businesses, how we're going to run organizations, how we're going to live our life in quality mode, and it's going to affect in each and every aspect of our life. People generally associate the arrival of AI to non-availability of jobs in future, but the study shows it's going to bring in a lot many more jobs than what is expected, than what you have today. Definitely, it's going to take away the mundane and repetitive kind of jobs that we do today, which takes away a lot of our productive time, but it is going to bring in a lot more jobs in high-end technology areas. So the only difference is going to be you need to be learning and adapting to the new scenario all the time. People who are job seekers, people who are aspiring entrepreneurs will have to keep themselves updated on what is happening around the globe in the technology areas and keep themselves updated. That's going to be the difference. But then the number of jobs, the number of opportunities that AI is going to bring in worldwide, globally, is going to be manifold. I mean, it's going to be three times, four times of what's available today. The nature of jobs are going to change. A typical example that everybody quotes is the change that's going to happen in the healthcare sector, where doctors would probably be doing nursing jobs later on, where diagnosis and surgeries are going to be taken over by AI-assisted machines. Doctors would mostly give palliative or personal creative care to the patients. These machines would outdo or be a big what you call competition to skilled doctors, to skilled engineers, to skilled technologies, who nowadays do a lot of repetitive jobs, which will be taken over by machines. It's going to affect a lot of work. Robin would be able to elaborate more on how it is going to affect the society in different ways. He is an expert. He's the head of TCS Rapid Labs. He's out and out an R&D professional, so he'll be able to tell us in detail of how AI is going to affect our daily lives in the coming years. I don't want to take more of the time here. The time has to go to Robin for his speeches and his session. I once again congratulate all the members of Pradidhwani who made this happen, this 100 technical forums happen even during stressing times. And with all your permission, I am happy to declare this 100th episode open. Thank you.
Thank you, Srikumar sir. So as Srikumar sir said, we'll have to be updated for becoming competitive in this IT industry. That's what we strive for. Pradidhwani Technical Forum strive for. In all these technical sessions, we were trying for that, like hot technologies and many experts are coming for taking workshops, trainings, and meetups. We will witness the 100th session in few minutes. So let's hear a video message from CEO, as he wasn't able to make his physical presence here as he was busy. So we'll go to the video message from CEO. And Smita, can we?
Rajat, shall I make you the host?
Yes, sir. Smita, you there?
Rajat, can you play from there?
Can you share?
Yeah. All go on mute. I think some disturbance is there.
ഒരു ചൂടായില്ലേ
Yes, Smita, can you mute all?
You can play it at the end of the day, sir. Due to some issues, it's not playing. So can we go ahead with the next thing?
Okay, sure. Then.
Please mute the others.
Can you mute all others, Smita?
Vinil PA, can you mute yourself, please?
Yes, Smita.
Rajat, you are the host now.
I'm the host.
Yeah. Please mute.
You can mute. Use the mute all option.
Okay. Smita, you can take over the host part and then try for the video. Meanwhile, I'll move to the next section, but this will be the vote of thanks. After that, we will be seeing the video message from the CEO. Sorry for the inconvenience caused. So, before moving to the inaugural function, official vote of thanks, we can't we'll have to remember few people who were behind the success of this technical forum, like Bipin Vasudevan, who was started this as a convener and who took a lot of effort in building this forum like this. And Smita, obviously, after she took over, a lot of sessions started happening, and she took a lot of pain in building freshers forum, freelance forum, all those kind of things under this particular technical forum things. And obviously, all the Prodhani organizers plus Rajiv Krishnan, who was leading us all through this, like previous secretary, but he was behind all these success. So I would invite Naushad to give away the vote of thanks, and after that we'll be hearing the message from CEO. Naushad.
Thanks, Rajat. It's pretty much covered how Pradhani has been doing these sessions and the kind of impact that it has made to the society. And I would like to not take much time, but as you all are aware, we've been reaching to more than 30,000 people who has participated in the session so far, and helping out more than 7,000 plus freshers who've been part of the Pradhani Tech Freshers Forum as well. I would take this time to thank our chief guest, Sri Kumar sir, and the head of Tata ELXI, for giving this beautiful speech and inauguration in the starting of the session, where valuable points on how the industry is being changed was shared by him. And then, even though we were not able to have John sir, CEO IT Parks, presence with his video message, which is still to be played, I would like to use this opportunity to thank him as well. And finally, to all the people who has come to attend this 100th session, which is kind of a pleasureful moment for all of us who has been behind this. And not last but the least, but main thanks to speaker who is about to deliver the session now, Mr. Robin Tommy. who's been the rapid technology incubation specialist and is also a thought leader with social innovator. He has filed more than 60 plus patents and is also a TDX speaker. Together with a digital transformation strategist role. It's a pleasure to have you, sir, here. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you as well. And to all the Pradhani members, the family behind all the success for so far and more journeys to come. Thank you all once again, and leaving the floor to Rajit to invite Mr. Speaker, Robin Thomas.
Thank you, Naushad. So we will be going to the session, 100th session, proud moment for us. So I would request Rahul Chandran to give a small intro on the speaker and on the 100th session. We declare that the inaugural function has winded up. Thank you, Srikumar sir. We'll be seeing the video message of CEO after the session by Robin. Like we were facing some technical issues. Sorry, very sorry about that. I would welcome Rahul Chandran for the introduction of 100th session. Yeah.
Thank you, Rajit. Robin Tommy, currently leading the IEEE Robotics and Automation Society RIS Kerala team in the Vice Chairman role. He is recognized as one among the top 100 global thought leader and influencer by Thinkers 360, winner of the most prestigious Tata Innovista and TCS Innovista awards. He filed more than 60 patents and published more than 24 research papers in IEEE, Springer, and ACM. Robotics architect and consultant. Developed the first humanoid from the Tata team. Immersive customer experience innovator, solutions like we have an IAMA virtual library, creating IP and business-oriented technology solutions. Setting up innovation labs, identifying the core contributors, idea management and brainstorming, innovation process and formation. He is a technical evangelist and speaker, published a number of research papers and patents in the serious games, robotics, deep learning, cybersecurity, and image processing domain. And now he is working as Rapid Lab Head, TCS Research and Innovations. So we probably know Mr. Robin Toby is the best choice for taking the 100th session of Pradhani Technical Forum. And his topic is how AI is impacting social change and accessibility. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Robin Toby. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much. So first of all, let me thank Praditwani, specifically Ajit, who had invited me for the session, and also to Smita and everyone, Rajat and all the leaders of Praditwani and all the family of Praditwani who has joined today. And also congratulations to the one of the most inspiring forums of Technopark and also InfoPark, which has been leading a lot of, I would say, great examples. And I'm so proud to be a part of this family today and take a session which is really important and close to our heart from the Tata Group or the Tata Trust, we call it. And that's on the social innovation. And specifically, I'll just try to touch on how technology is changing the spectrum of social change. I believe all of you are able to hear me loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So I need to share the screen. I don't have access for that. Host has disabled participant screen sharing. Smita or someone who is the host, can you just give me access for screen sharing?
Smita, you are host now. Can you give access to Robin?
So meanwhile, the access comes in. I'll just inform me when it comes in. I'll just give a brief glance on what specifically this 100th session, getting an opportunity to talk. So this agenda or the things that I'll be covering in this session is first is on what is the meaning of social cause, or specifically during COVID, as we were hearing from Srikumar sir. COVID has given a lot of lessons, and specifically what is the most important lesson. And you might have also seen the entire TCS also underwent a real big transformation in its naming and the tagline conventions. Earlier it was experience certainty. Today it has changed to building on belief. So there is a specific reason in that change also. So it's purpose-led innovations, we call it overall. and why purpose-led innovation is really important in the scenario. That's what I'll be starting with. And then I will make sure that I take you through the larger journey. I've got the access. I've shared the screen. Please let me know you're able to see the screen.
We can see.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will just disable my video for now so that I don't consume too much of bandwidth. Okay, great. So the topic for today is AI for social impact and accessibility, but I'm not going to touch too much on the topic of technology, but I'll just speak on what are the various technologies we use. But at least more than that, I just wanted to give you a glance on what is the overall impact that most of the brands are making. Look, a brand is not just born in a day, as you all know. Each brand has its own guidelines. It has a way in which it has evolved. So some of the brands, as you see here, Unilever, IBM, Google. So these are some of the brands, I would say, which have been impacting people or the purpose statement. So whatever we are discussing here is most important is the word purpose. So you do business, you make millions of profit. But what is the purpose behind that particular business? If you see TCS or Tata, 60% of the entire profit goes towards social causes. So, why? And most of the business have started contributing to that. I would say most of the, not everyone, but at least what each of these businesses or international, or you call it as the Fortune 500 or the 2000 companies, they have a specific methodology in which they do this entire business scenarios. So especially when the pandemic came in, everyone started focusing on the purpose statement. Especially, you might have seen that even today, we even look at the kind of food that we eat. We are concerned on the kind of clothing that we wear. So how much is the contribution towards the nature or the environment? So a lot of these things are happening as of now. So that is where this session is going to focus, and why brands are focusing, and why each individual ourselves has to start contributing to that cause. Now, it is a cause. It's a habit that people form. Okay. Now, if you look at Unilever has a very specific cost statement. It's called Sustainable Living Plan. Most of you know what are the products of Unilever or the similar companies like P&G, the Procter and Gamble. Okay, so the Colgates, the Palmolives, you have used at least one of their products in your entire lifetime. So what happens to these products? So people say that they bring in a lot of sustainable initiatives are happening. So first, let's see the market. What is the market thinking, and why the sustainability or purpose or social innovation? You call multiple names to it, but we usually call it as the cause for purpose. 83% of millennials today, they are more loyal, or the brand is there, especially when you're loyal to a company that contributes to ESG causes. What is ESG? Environment, social, governance. And now today it's also called as ESG and C. The and C means C is the climate. Now, why this is important is, as I've already told, you might have seen Tata contributing to many of the initiatives of India. Or similarly, many other companies making sure that when India needed the support, or our country needed support at multiple instances, they made sure they are contributing to that particular instance. So most of the millennials or that kind of age group today look at this kind of a contribution. Second part of it is articulation, amplification, then the meaning and the uniqueness that you create using that particular entire amplification. And finally, you're building an ecosystem. Now, this has moved into a different scenario as of now. I'm just giving you the business aspect so that I can correlate this later to the technology aspects. As you see here, today, it's not just, we call it as an industrialization that's coming in. So you might have already heard from Sri Kumar sir, there's a change in industrialization, the first stage, second age, third age. Now we call it as the fourth era of industrialization. Now, even beyond that, after the COVID, people have started thinking something called social enterprise, or 4.x era of the enterprise is getting started. Now, there is a $2 trillion economy in the global social innovation as of now, as predicted in 2020. And most of them have started responding to it. So you can see the chart there that is given there. Any traditional organization, like look at TCS, or you can look at any of the Tata Group as such, You can look at the Reliance group or any groups that is there. Most of them are trying to increase the collaboration. Now, what is the increase the collaboration? Supporting their own societies or the well-being of the centric societies, we call it. For example, I'll give you an example here is Home Depot. Most of you might be knowing about Home Depot. It's similar company like IKEA. So Home Depot is one of the thing is that they support veterans from the US military, especially who are having paraplegic, and who lost their limbs or during the war and all those kind of issues. They support them from the perspective, their CSR or the social innovation, their enterprise social causes to support them. So they bring in IoT-based homes for them. Okay, AI-based devices for these military who have military professionals to make sure that when they come back, they are given all the support. Similarly, each company, like if you look at Tata, we have three major areas where we invest from a social cause. One is in the healthcare segment. Okay, you know the RCCs. The RCC entire chain was supported by the Tatas, the Regional Cancer Center network. Then we also have the most important is the education part of it. You may see the TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIS, social sciences. A lot of educational institutions are there. And third, also, we are trying to contribute more towards the social causes, larger social causes, as you see. So whenever there is a immediate attention that is required, okay, so there is a social cause change that would happen there. Now coming into, so this is just a placement here to understand how the engagement models are happening from a business perspective, because you should understand how this happens. Another classic example I can say is the Barclays Bank. So Barclays is famous for, you all know Barclays Bank, but they have a very, very specific division, which is called the Barclays Reach program, their CSR program, which specifically concentrates on autism, cerebral palsy, and people with specially able children. So every company started focusing on a particular area where they see that needs support, and they start contributing to that. Not only from today, contributing doesn't mean just giving money to that segment. It's more of trying to understand the larger contribution from a perspective of technology, the business needs, and also improving the quality of life. Now, never think that improving quality of life just means giving them, I would say, just giving some money. That's an old terminology. Social enterprise means it's not just money. Provide the right ingredients, methodologies, and finally technology and research. Because how you can try to improve the quality of life by eradicating certain mechanisms which have been there for several years. So that's where we are coming from, or I would say this session comes from. So this particular model is called the B2S model, or business to society model, which actually, look, when you start working towards that particular, this is a habit formation. Okay, so you start the B2S model, then slowly this gets extended to all your business outcomes. Now I'll say from TCS perspective, as most of you might have heard, I come from the background of a lab. That's a research lab where it's an emerging technology research lab. We work with almost 60 plus customers across the globe. For all these customers, what we do is whenever there is a problem statement that comes to us, we try to give them something from the angle of social innovation or sustainability or ESG factors. Or it can be like one of the famous customers in US, okay, which is in the manufacturing side. Just now we completed a MVP, I would say, with them, a minimum viable product. Now in that product, what we found is that we were doing a AI algorithm which was consuming almost from a normal AI algorithm, it was consuming 25% extra of carbon dioxide emission, or its a carbon footprint emission was very high for that algorithm, specifically because it needed very huge processing capability from the CPU and GPU perspective. Now, what happens during our analysis, our review, what we found is this was happening, and the accuracy was like 95 to 96%. So we had a discussion with the customer. We looked at this because each customer has a SDG goal. When I say SDG, it's the Sustainable Development Goal, which you will come to know. I believe most of you know about it. So we looked at the SDG goal. We found that they are more into the 12 and the 13, that is sustainability, and they also wanted to make sure that the place is living. So what we did, we went back and we talked to the customer. We are ready to reduce the accuracy of it, for example, within the 90s range, 90-92, because that will give you the carbon dioxide emission will reduce by almost 50%. Now, to our surprise, I would say the customer was ready to consume it, and now it is called as the eco-driven coding, or some of you might be already knowing that sustainability design for the entire ecosystem of algorithms. So that's the latest AI kind of techniques, or the AI driven terminologies or sustainability angles that we try to contribute to customers, and we make sure every customer gets that I would say a piece of meal in that particular segment. Now, there is a specific methodology with which we do it. Look, anything that you try to give it to the customer, you cannot just understand what the customer is doing, because each customer has a specific SDG goal. Each customer wants to understand what they wanted to contribute back to the society, and we also should help them in understanding this entirety. So that is where we come from. We have a specific methodology for it. Now, what is that methodology? One is empathize, engage, and empower. Now, first, the empathize phase is more of like we learn what is the purpose statement for the customer. We learn it from the TCS perspective. We identify what is the initiative that is most possibly that can be run with the technology, because our lab is more of a technology-oriented lab, and we have to align with the enterprise brand. Second is we try to engage. It's not that in one day you can do the wonders. Okay, so you have to first engage and understand what is the most possible model that will suffix the purpose. What is the passion that will drive this purpose, and what is the habit to make sure that this purpose gets sustained. Okay, look, you cannot put something just like into the customer's pocket. So what we have to understand here is we have to create a habit. Now, how do you create that habit? So first you need to understand what is the cues. Okay, cues that will actually enable this passion. Second, you need to see what is the routine the customer does for making sure this habit is formed. Like every morning, you know that most of us just in the morning itself, you go and take a brush and start brushing your teeth. That's a habit. Okay, your brain is already your primal brain. It's called the primal brain habits. So you automatically do that. So any kind of social innovation that we try to implement, we have to make sure the habit is formed in that, so that it's sustained for years. It's not just you do it for one time and you just stop it. So that is where the empowerment comes in. So when you do it multiple times, 1,000 times or 10,000 times, and for years, because some of our projects have been running for almost like 7 years now. Okay, so we have to empower, we have to lead that and bring other leaders and partners to it, because technology is getting mature. Every 6 months, 7 months, you will see there's a drastic change in the technology. So that drastic change will get included into our all algorithms, whatever that we are getting delivered. That collaboration models and community models are formed. Like Pradidwani, today we have a community. Several communities are formed inside the organization to sustain this social causes. So now you look at the triad. Now, till here I am explaining more on the business aspect of it, so that you understand why the ESGs and social innovation and social impact is important for a brand. Not only for a brand, any startup. There are a lot of startups doing this, and how this is getting collaborated. So you can see some of the UN SDG goals, which from our lab we do. 5 of them are given there. So most important thing is there are 3 things we collaborate with. Okay, so one is the basic collaboration with other units like the Kerala Startup Mission, Kerala Social Security Mission, the Fab Labs, the Future Labs. So we have been collaborating with almost all these kind of things, and the Tata companies within, like the Titan and all other companies we have. So we are trying to collaborate with them. So the other part of it is the design. So this design just doesn't mean that it's the UX and the UI design, but there is also a service design. There is also an experience design. Okay, so that we are trying to engage with. And technology, the most important part, I would say the lion's share come from the technology, because the technology should work before we give some kind of an outcome to the people around it. So it's the collaboration, the design, and the technology that comes in. So that's why I said AI is one of the technologies that helps in, but I'll just cover on what are the AI or the AI tools that is being used. But more, I will try to cover on the initiatives and how that got evolved. The stories between these initiatives is what we are trying to cover. Now, from an AI perspective, I've put some of the algorithms that we work with, especially with the social innovation factors. So majority of them have been, it's not identified majority of part of it, but at least YOLO, we have SPPs, so single shot detectors, FRCNNs, especially the faster RCNN is what we have been working, the faster and the faster. Now it's more we have started moving into the YOLOs, YOLO 3s, And TensorFlow is a bigger chunk of the work that we do, especially in the image, the video processing, kind of extracting the specific areas where we wanted to do certain activities. Now you can just keep this on hold, because you will see where we have applied this later for the societal innovation. We do a lot of object tracking, especially in gaming, because we give a lot of gamified. All these comes under our gaming, because as you might have seen in the previous slide, here it is a collaboration of technologies. You can see combinatorial skills are used to engage with customers. So when I say combinatorial skills, it's not just AI alone that will work here. AI is one of the backend processing techniques, but the AI is put into gaming elements. For example, in virtual reality, augmented reality, hybrid reality. So we have AI coming into each end of for object tracking, for avatar tracking, and all those kind of things. And with that, we do a lot of algorithms. Some of the object tracking algorithms we use is given here, the Rolos, the deep sort, and also we do a lot of text-based algorithms using transformers and all those kind of BERT models, I would say today, with some of our use cases that you will see. So till here, I just wanted to give you an insight into what is the different things that we have been using from a technology perspective or AI perspective, how the density matching and all those kind of things and motion estimation is happening. Now, let me start with a few stories, okay, and how social innovation has been a driver for us from a larger perspective. First thing is we have to understand the story. So how we started. So this story is VHab. You can search in Google about VHab and TCS and Barclays. So Barclays is one of our partners in this story. So as I told you, any social innovation should have a partner or a collaboration. So the collaboration angle of VHab is Barclays. Here the technology is two technologies majorly. One is the gamification or the game elements that work in the background, and the AI. I'll come to that later much more deeper. But to understand the third part of it, as you all know, is the people factor. So you might have seen the triad here. The design factor is also important. The design is from the perspective of specially able children. Now, let me start the story, how we started this journey. Now, our own center head, okay, so Dinesh Thampi, who is the TCS center head for Kochi and Trivandrum. So he is the person behind this initiative. So he asked us to visit a school in Kochi. So in Kochi, Tripunitara, we visited a school, which is a special school, okay. It had almost like those days, it's like 5 years back. The school had almost 300 plus children. Today, it has gone above 500 children. So we went to the school one fine morning with my colleagues in TCS in my research labs. So we went there, we reached almost like by 9:30, 10. So we were waiting for the children to come. Most of the children were coming with their parents. Almost 90% of their children come with their parents. Mostly I would say in that 90%, it's the parents. When I say it's their mother, so they come, most of them are carried by their parents, because they were having either cerebral palsy. So now what is cerebral palsy? Is a condition by birth you have very limited limb movements. Then some of them are having, I would say, autism. Some of them were facing intellectual disability, neuromuscular disability. So one or the other, most of these children were actually supported by their one of their parents completely. They had to completely depend on their parent. Now they by morning 10 o'clock, they will reach the school. There is a lot of things that they go through. So there is one important room in the school, which is called the physical therapy room. So children from almost like 3 years to, I would say, teenagers, even there are children up more than 20 years. That's why I said then they've even crossed their teenage. But since their intellectual capability is a bit slow that they build up. So that's the reason why they stay in these schools. Now, we could hear a lot of noise that's coming out of this physical therapy room. Now, as you all know, physical therapy is a very painful process. And some of you might be knowing that if you have met with an accident or some kind of a problem with your bones, you will go through a physical therapy process or a physiotherapy process. It is very painful. Think of a child from his 2 years or even earlier than that. He goes through that painful process on a day-to-day basis. A lot of children were crying, I would say. A lot of children were not feeling good. They were running out of that room. They wanted to go home back. It's more of like the children were upset coming to the school. But this has to be done on a daily basis. Okay, so that is the problem statement I would say we wanted to take up. Now, seeing that we were also very, I would say most of our colleagues went sad because seeing our own small kids crying and running out, even seeing the physical therapists, because they were also facing a huge challenge getting them on the bed and doing the physical therapy process. Now, this is what we thought we will take as a problem statement, and what could we do to this problem statement? So the problem statement got defined. Now I'll give you what is the problem statement here. Now the problem statement got defined as very simple, make therapy fun, or give them the idea of doing the therapy in a very beautiful manner that they will never know that they are going through the therapy process. So that was what the problem statement was. So we were trying to make sure each and every child who wants a physical therapy goes through that therapy, but he will never know that he is going through that therapy, or he will make it, there is a fun factor added to the therapy thing. So that is what is the solution we wanted to build. Now we were thinking of methodologies, how will be implemented. So the design phase started. So we got the problem statement, we wanted to design. So that is when one of my colleagues, I would say, was playing Angry Bird game during the noon lunch time. So we saw that a lot of children were coming near to us. They wanted to play the Angry Bird on the mobile. And we found a very specific behavior is that they love to play games, or they get fast indulged in the gaming world. So that is what we started taking the elements of game. So that is how our service design started getting more called into the game elements. So we started developing using Unity. So majorly the larger gaming elements were brought in. So we got in the avatars, specific avatars, which they feel like it is more near to them. That's where the service design was really important in this. So we built avatars which were like superpower avatars, I would say, because everyone liked to be a super woman or a Superman. So what we wanted is the Wonder Womans and everyone there. So each character was brought in for them, and that characters were always like a very near kind of a human that they have seen in their life. Okay, so that was how the characters were built for them. And even we wanted to make sure they get indulged with these characters so that they love these characters and they will do whatever the character is asking them to do. Now, what is the other the AI element here? So as I told you, we have a very important part of it, which is the gaming element. Now, can you say me what would be the AI element that would have been implemented, or what that is already there in this system? I'll just open for questions so that it is more interactive and I'm not making you bored. I don't know whether you can unmute your mic and just say it. Anyone? What would be the AI element that can be added here?
I think interacting with the movements.
Interacting with the movements, great. What kind of movements? As I told you, that's great. That answer is great, I would say. But at least you look at that child, no? That's a picture. This picture explains everything. So his name is actually Nirmal Krishna. Okay. So this person is a very beautiful person, I would say. So this person is he was actually walking on 2 crutches. He had 2 crutches when he comes to school, and his parent had to actually catch him when he walks because his confidence was very low. And he's afraid that he will fall down at any point of time when he walks. So his mother always catches him. Okay. Now, as you rightly told, you have to identify the movements. So what are the different movements that we can identify? Or what is your human body? If you look at the human body from a technical terminology, what do you think the human body is all about? Come on, guys, let's make it interactive. No, you can even chat it. Suited to every child who undergoes therapy. Okay. Any other? What can be your? What is that actually makes a person's body identifiable by a machine? So your body is given to a machine, or a machine is looking at your body through a camera. Now, what are the kind of cameras we use? It is like your 3D cameras, stereoscopic cameras. We specifically call it from a robotics terminology. It's a stereoscopic camera. So what does the camera see? Human body is like a moving object. Great. Yes. So your body is there in front of it. So you have to do, I just show you some algorithms earlier. What was those algorithms from here? You have to track the movement. Great. So you have to, it's called Silhouette tracking. So first you need to see, okay, how the human body is moving. For example, the hands, the legs, and the upper body, the lower body. Now you have to understand very specific terminologies from a human body. Okay. So human body, majorly we say there's two parts for the human body. One is the upper body and the other is the lower body. Upper body is just above, I would say, the trunk and above it. That's the hands, the shoulders, the hands and the head. The lower body is your legs, okay, trunk and below. So here your algorithm, great, rotary motions. So I would say your algorithm should be able to understand your upper body separately and your lower body separately, okay. And also one more thing, the children are having difficulty in their limb movement. So you might have heard that already, me specifying that particular problem here is limb movements. So you have to identify, you have to first differentiate between your upper body and lower body, because most of the times, I would say 60% of the time, this person is sitting on a wheelchair. So you have to also identify there is a wheelchair in front of you. Okay, I'm giving you the scenarios where AI is used. So first you need to identify the object. So what is the object here? Human body. Now second is, once the human body is determined, now you have to know what are the various parts of the human body. What are they? Upper body, lower body. Now you understood that there is an upper body and the lower body. The third part of it is you have to understand whether the lower body is standing or sitting. Why? Because your machine, you're interacting with a very delicate person. You're interacting with a person who is actually looking at this system as something that is a dream come true. Okay, I'm giving you why this. Because we are trying to present the system to a person or the community which has faced a lot of challenges in their life. To parents, we are going and saying that we have a beautiful tool or a very wonderful interacting tool called We Have. Why don't you try it? They have been hearing this for years, and they know that there is no much change that's going to happen to my child. That's what they will say. Each parent will say that because they have gone through the worst in their life. So you have to be very sure whatever you give to him or her actually works in the expected direction. And that is where AI comes into being. Look, you can give a simple game and say that you play it. No, that will not work here. Reason being, it has to be very personalized and customized. So first is you have to identify the body structure, then you have to identify whether it's sitting and standing. Whether he's sitting means you have to even identify whether it's a wheelchair or a normal chair. Now, soon after that, it identifies it. The first thing the application does or is trying to do is that it is trying to identify what are the kind of things this person can do. So it will ask him to just raise his hands. It will try to see what is the angle at which he's able to raise. So this works along with all the kind of 3D stereoscopic cameras, you know, the cameras like the Kinects. Now, Kinects are not in the market, but the Orbeck Astra, or there are several cameras like that. Okay, so I would say the RealSense, one of the most accurate cameras today available is the RealSense camera from Intel. So those cameras or Z cameras, ZED, okay, so those are the best cameras that's available, which will be able to track your arms and all those kind of movements. Now it understood that your hands can only move up to 30 degrees. Now what is the next AI algorithm that initiates here is, it is trying to give some exercises or the simulation environment. So you might have seen this in NVIDIA and all. The simulation environment is actually dynamic in the background. So it requires a GPU to run, but at least the simulation environment is dynamic, where the system will try to understand what the person is able to do. And it will challenge the person to do a bit more than that, like your GRE exam. Okay, I'm trying to correlate this with your GRE exam, where you know that in a GRE exam, you write it, it's highly adaptive. So you get a simple question. Next time you might get a medium level question. Then you get a complex question based on which you correct it, if you're correct or if you're wrong. Okay, and it will go here and there based on how you are answering those questions. Same kind of principle happens here in the gaming world. You know that usually it happens in the gaming world when AI gets involved. Here we are looking at the body. Here the inputs from the body, the angle at which your knee can move, your flexion. The words here we use is the flexions, the contractions, the rotations, each part of the body it will try to observe and see, okay, how much he's able to move. If he's not able to do it multiple times, system will go a bit more lower level and say him to try it. So always there is a factor of motivation, factor of competition, factor of leadership boards, factor of gamification, all interlinked with multiple elements, and give a data science based outcome, analytics based outcome, which will give data to the doctors, to the therapists, saying that this is the amount at which, or this is the amount of movement that's possible for this child as of now. What is the change that's happening on a daily basis when he is exercising? So it's like day 1, day 2, day 3. Whatever is the change that happens from the object detection models, the angle detection models, the silhouette detection models, the I would say the fine motor and the gross motor. So I didn't introduce this word fine motor and gross motor. Gross motor is the capability of a person to move around. Okay, when you walk, when you take a pick up object, all these are gross motor capabilities. Whereas fine motor means when you are able to pick a pen and write something, it's a fine motor capability, and it's very difficult. Your fine motor means your brain has to there's a lot of neurons from your cerebellum and cerebrum that gets involved in your fine motor movements. And for many of these child, fine motor movements are very difficult because they are not able to concentrate, or they have this specific thing called athetoids. Athetoids is shivering. Okay, like in the case of Parkinson's and all, when they start concentrating on a fine motor activity, they will start shivering. Like taking a glass of milk, trying to drink a glass of milk, most of the milk will go down. And why we wanted to concentrate, again, there is a story or a problem that was there we identified during this. That is in the case of Nirmal. Okay, so when Nirmal was actually, I would say, was having his lunch, so we were looking at how he was having lunch. His mother gives him lunch. Okay, and you all know we all have lunch using hands. We make bowl and we take it in our hands and we eat it. Whereas in the case of Nirmal had a fine motor issue, extreme fine motor issue, I would say. We asked his mother whether he can try to do it because we were observing. We were doing the observation phase of it. So Nirmal took his mother made the bowl. Nirmal took one bowl and he started moving it to his mouth. To our surprise, we saw that not even 3 grains of rice went into him or in his mouth, because he started shivering when the mouth opened. Because whenever something he wants to concentrate on a fine motor part, he cannot do it. Now think of his mother's situation and his situation. So he's trying to do it multiple times. He's not able to win it. So he's completely getting demotivated, and there is a fear factor coming into it. And that is what we wanted to lower by using fine motor games. So the games are like making him able to brush his teeth, making him catch certain objects. So we had IoT also introduced into it. So looking at his arms, how much his fingers are able to move, how much angle each finger is able to move. That's where AI comes into. So the angles, the distance, the which finger, how many fingers, all those fingers are getting enabled for a task. Each goals are given end to end. What is the milestones that needs to be achieved in creating those goals? And each milestone is achieved adaptively and through AI algorithms to create this entire spectrum, or I would say the ecosystem of VHAB. And that is what is VHAB. Now I'm going to show you a real-time example. Okay, there's a video, and I'll just play this video. You will see how the improvement happened. And in this video, you're seeing a person called Sharan Suresh. Sharan Suresh was working on dual crutches when he came to the school. He was going through physical therapy. He was introduced to VHAB 2 years back. So he went through VHAB for a year. Today he walks without, or I would say most important problem he had is he was not able to climb the stairs. He's not able to climb the stairs. And he was living on the 11th floor of an apartment in Kochi. And his parents always faced issues while taking him to school, because certain days when those days, I would say not now, at least the electricity was not there. And they would have to carry him from the top 11th floor to the first floor. And many days he could not make to the school if there was no electricity. But we wanted to change that. And that's how he got changed, and you will see how it happened. So this is after he has gone through VHAB almost like 6 months. You can see how he's. So now you will see how he's practicing VHAB, especially barrier practicing. This is called barrier practicing on VHAB. We customized a lot of things for him. Now you can see the stability at which he stands. And you can see how he walks the stair.
VHAB is a great example where two technology companies, TCS and Barclays, have come together, used their core competency, and solved a problem for the wider community. The best part about VHAB is the gamification of the entire therapy. It's built like an online game wherein you can see the results instantly on the screen. The kids really have fun during the therapy. They actually look forward to these sessions, and they come out of these sessions with a big smile on their face. We've been also talking to the therapist, and results have shown that this mode of therapy is helping to speeden up the learning in these kids. It's proven to be much more effective than the traditional methods of therapy. We feel immensely proud to be associated with such a unique project, which is really making a difference in the life of these kids.
So this is Rajesh TK, who is the director of Barclays, who is one of our, I would say, partners. We call them partners, and collaborations and community was built with them. And a lot of today we have Nielsen's, we have Cummins, we have several customers who are with us for VHAB, supporting the cerebral palsy word, specifically for cerebral palsy. Now, I'll just ask a few questions here. Okay, how we have, now you have seen how VHAB has been evolved and what is VHAB all about. Okay, now how AI has contributed to VHAB, the various technologies in VHAB that helped in. I'll just go back. So as we told, there was object tracking, there was a lot of RCNN algorithms to find out what are the different environment. Look, there is an environment, no? It is looking at not only a human being there, there are a lot of things around it. So it has to go through faster RCNNs to identify what is the object that is brought into the environment. For example, a crutch, as most of these children has crutches. So some of them have wheelchairs. Some of them had this trolley kind of thing where they move just catching that. So there was a lot of thing, and YOLO, live video processing happens, live video AI happens there. So TensorFlow based things. So these are the kind of technologies we have used. And just being very open here, even though we have a lot of patents around it, because this is nothing secret here, to just make sure that what we have been doing for them. So there is a object tracking algorithms, but more than that, I just wanted to come back to the slide here. What are we trying to do? What is the meaning in which what we are trying to do? And that's really important here, no? Because more than the technology factor, because technology has enabled, you know that. But you have to see here is, there is a technology, for sure, AI, gamification. We talked about the fancy technology names, how that got integrated for the children. The design we did, because you cannot convince people just like that, no? Because they are people who have been exploited like anything in the world. They are people who have been exploited by multiple, I would say, organizations with equipments which are not even good for them, which are just made without their none of the researchers. And collaboration, because it's just VHAB just doesn't mean that we have given it to one or two people. Today there are 4,000 plus children who are undergoing therapy through VHAB, and that was achieved because of the NGOs, because of governments. I would say I will thank the Kerala government, the Maharashtra government, and all, and even now we are doing it with Karnataka government. Lot of government who is coming into, especially Dr. Ashil, who is the KSSM director earlier, who supported us a lot in those initiatives. A lot of collaboration that has happened, because without collaboration and community, this would have not gone any side, I would say. And the vision that was there with the leaders who were a part of this journey. So that's what all you see. Now, can you say me, what is the outcome of this VHAB? I'll just pause for a minute to get answers from you. What do you think would be the outcome of VHAB? Any idea? Because whatever you do, finally, it should have an outcome or an impact, or how the community gets enabled. Any idea? You can unmute yourself, guys.
I think the outcome is more, we can phrase it, how technology reach out to the people and enabling a better life and overcome the difficulties or the various traumas that they might have. So how technology is directly linked to that. So in our daily life,
one
mostly.
outcome is great. Yeah. So technology, how technology is able to change, how we took a risk. One is it's a huge risk that we have taken, because it's a very delicate society, very a society which it's not easy to penetrate or get the requirements properly because we don't understand. Because most of the cerebral palsy children, as you rightly pointed, they are having issues with speech, slurred speech, which is the next project that you will see, which I'm going to show you. So lot of these children will not open up because one is they are very shy, they are demotivated, and when they speak, we might not understand what they are trying to say. And third is their parents have to be with them full the whole time, I would say, along with the therapist and the teachers to make us understand this entire stuff. And technology could have not been successful without understanding them to their core and being with them in that particular angle, in their shoes, I would say, as a user. That's how we did this entire scenario. But more than the technology impact, as you rightly mentioned, here the impact was actually for the beneficiaries. Who are the beneficiaries? The parents, especially their mothers, I would say. As I told you, 90% of their children's, when they come to school, their mothers accompany them. 90%, I would say. Now, one impact we wanted to make is we want to reduce this number. So the parents should not come with their children, because one reason why the parents were coming, because of the physical therapy was painful. Second, they needed to be handled. I would say they need to be given food. They have to be taken from one place to another place. Even for going to the bathroom, they would have they need to take it in their hands. There's a lot of physical pain. I would say the parents had to go through. We wanted to reduce that. And to our surprise, after 2 years, we have came into existence. The number of parents coming to school, it got reduced by almost 35%, I would say. Now, how? One reason being, children were motivated to come to school because of VHAP, because they wanted to play around, and they never thought that they were improving it. And the visible results were coming within 3 to 4 months. You saw how Sharan Suresh is able to take the stairs. Now you think of Sharan Suresh. He takes the stairs from his home. He goes to the school bus. Now school bus drops him, and he again takes the school bus and comes back. His mother was bringing him every day. Now today, look, most of these people come from a below poverty family. If one of the parent is not going for work, it's difficult for them to survive. So we wanted to make sure that they get a job. They do a job at least at the time their children are able. And that's what is one of the biggest enablements we could do. Out of this 35%, 28% of their mothers were able to go for a work for a living. And that is the change, I would say. That is what is the impact we could bring. More than the impact I talk about technology or anything, the sustained impact for the last 5 years. It is improving, it's increasing day to day. COVID has given a lot of hiccups in this journey. We admit it, but we have also brought in a very huge change during COVID, which you will see later. But at least this is what is the overall change we could bring, the impact we could bring, and improve the quality of life for the beneficiaries and the entire family through using VHAP. So that's the story of VHAP. Now I'll go to another story, which I already started as sparkled in the VHAP journey, where all these children, most of these children, almost 80% of the children were facing challenges with their speech. Okay, so when we were trying to ask questions, or when we were, okay, I'll give you, there is another person called Anugrah, okay, in a school, similar kind. This Anugrah is, for Anugrah, this particular VHAP was not useful because he was completely on a wheelchair, and for him only few fingers moved. That is, on his left hand, he can only move the index finger. And his legs, he is able to move the fingers on the legs. This is what he's able to move. Otherwise, mostly he tries to, if at least from his hip perspective, he can move the hip and all, but he's not that good at his limb motion. So for that kind of children, it is difficult. VHAP cannot be used because you cannot observe any improvement, because by birth, their limb movements capability, or the spinal cord connectivity, and the neuron, the primary brain neuron or the rational brain neuron connectivities are really less. So here, I would put it like, this person cannot move much, but he is intellectually brilliant. Anugrah is intellectually brilliant. Okay. Now, how can we understand it? That was the problem, because the problem what Anugrah was facing is, we were doing the VHAP implementation in a school. So Anugrah was sitting with us. Okay. He was just, he was on a wheelchair. He was looking what we were doing. So in between, he was asking for something. He was going on asking for something, that particular thing, half a day. Later on, he started crying, and we were looking for people. We brought in a teacher. Later on, the teacher brought in his mother. Then we came to know that he was asking something. You will listen to what he was asking later. I will show you. But that was a turning point, and that was a requirement, I would say, the problem statement we wanted to solve. So we wanted to bring in an AAC device. Most of you might have heard about AAC devices, alternative and augmentative communication device, specifically people like having ALS, neuromuscular, MD, that is muscle distortions, muscular neuron issues, MNS. All these people use, and autistic children also use a lot of AAC device because they use devices to communicate. One of the famous AAC companies in India is, I forgot the name. I think there is one called Apraxia, and there is one more. Just Talk is there. Okay, these are the famous tools that's available, or I would say softwares that's available. And Avas, Avas is one of the Indian companies which is incubated out of IIT Madras, which is a very beautiful, I would say, AAC tool. But what all these AAC tools were lacking is it cannot be used by people having cerebral palsy or complete limb movement issues. So people like Anugrah was facing that challenge. So Anugrah actually had a speech, okay, but that speech was not understandable by people like us, like me. I was not able to understand it. Only his parents would understand what he was trying to say. And that was actually a problem for Anugrah because he wanted to excel in his life. He always dreamed like all other normal human beings. He wanted to, I would say, study more. But the problem is that during all his exams, as I told you, he's intellectually brilliant. But during most of his exams, the problem that he was facing is he had a third person who comes for the exam. So since he is not able to type or say, there is a third person with same intellectual level that comes from a normal school. He has to speak to this person the answers. And most of the times he'll get just a pass mark because he's not able to convince that person what he's trying to say. So these are the kind of problems we saw. So we solved it using a product called Assisto. It's a very famous product. It's a device that we manufactured with the help of the Fab Labs in Trivandrum. We had a lot of support from Kerala Startup Mission doing this activity. It's an intelligent augmentative device. We have taken the sound, the vocal tract information, I would say, from the child, that is Anugrah, people like Anugrah, and we have trained a deep speech algorithm. It's called the ASR algorithm, speech recognition algorithms. And we have come out with a beautiful voice for Anugrah, which is the actual voice for Anugrah if he had spoken. So his parents were really, I would say, amazed to hear his voice. So I'll come to that. Now, this entire, I said, there is always a design piece, a technology piece, and a community piece, okay, to anything that we do, or a collaboration piece. So this entire device was actually triggered from you can see here, okay. Most of you might be knowing the Wonder Woman, and it's the gadget she uses, which is a symbolization of power, independence, and bravery. Because specifically, there was another child also. I don't want to name her because she was completely on bed. She was actually undergone through major challenges in her life by her own family members. People never knew that for a long period of time, till one day she resisted that by one of her own family members. And we found this, and we wanted her also to do a communication, because she's not able to communicate because she's only able to move her head left and right. That's the only thing she's able to move. When she starts speaking, we will not understand what she's speaking. And that's how we wanted to make her powerful. Now she should feel that she is powerful, and that's what the device Assisto was born. And this was conceived from this concept of power, independence, and bravery. So here I'm showing Anugrah. I cannot show that other person here because of privacy concerns. Now you can actually hear to what Anugrah was asking on that day. Okay, I believe you are able to hear the voice from the computer. If not, please let me know. Are you able to hear it?
We hear it.
So what was he asking? Can you say me what he was asking for? I'll play it once again.
It's asking for water.
Yes, he's asking for water. Great. This is much more, I would say, a refined part of his speech because he wanted you to understand at least the basics of it. He was actually asking this for half a day. You see this here. So this is Manu from my lab. So he was asking for actually a glass of water. So you can see the actual speech. Today he speaks using this device. Okay, you might have heard it, I believe. He was asking that. He almost asked it, I would say, more than 10 times. We didn't understand that. I would say it was our mistake. So he got very frustrated. And finally, we understood and we gave him that glass of water. But today he's able to ask it through the device that we have given him. And he's able to communicate. Today he's actually learning in, I would say, Sacred Heart College. He's doing his bachelor's in Sacred Heart. And this has helped to dream him big. I'm coming into the impact of it. Okay. So all these kind of children, there will be not too many children here, but at least the children who are facing this difficulty and having a good intellectual capability, the device is helping them to dream big, be more independent, be motivated, and communicate each other. So that's what is the story of Assisto. I just put a small video for you.
Very much enjoyed session with Manu and Robin sir from TCS. Happy to hear his own voice and also to hear clearly whatever he communicates.
So that's the story of Assisto. So here, from a technology perspective, it's more of, I would say, ASR algorithms, deep speech. You might have already heard about the deep fake algorithms. Okay, so we just took the deep speech models out of it. So there is a deep speech, deep learning model. So we took that model and we trained using whatever Anugrah was speaking. You might have heard how Anugrah was speaking. We took almost like, I would say, 1,000+ utterances of Anugrah. We took the utterances of his parents also, like his father. And also he has a sister. So we took almost like 1,000 utterances of his sister. We mixed the sound properly so that we actually come out with the sound which Anugrah would have spoken in his, I would say, normal tone. So that's how AAC device, this was born. Almost 100 devices were given across, and several patents are there, but all these patents are given free of cost to the right people, I would say, today. So that's the story of Assisto as of now, as you heard. So you understood the impact also. Now, before we close, the final thing which I wanted to bring in is Alibo. So today, Alibo has been renamed as Mitra. That's the name of the Alibo robot. So Alibo is a robot specifically used for training the autistic and cerebral palsy children. Especially, I would say 80% is the autistic children. So as you all know, for autism, the biggest challenge people are facing, or the teachers are facing, is to get them engaged in a classroom. Okay, so getting engaged. So this is a research done by the Indian Institute of Science, and we have been doing the research with Asha Foundation in Bangalore and several other schools across the globe, I would say, where we are trying to see what is the possibilities we can bring in. So one is the most important problem with, or I would say the challenge with, I would say, is getting relevant responses from autistic children. Since they don't move much, we have to make them moving. And the repetitive verbal tendency, especially when you ask a question, they will ask the same question back to us. And they don't engage much. Emotional engagement is also very less. So special educators face a lot of challenge training ASD children. So that is where we brought in a friend for them, okay, which is called Alibo, actually, from a customer terminology. But when we are giving it for specially able children, it's called Mitram. And as you know, Mitram means a friend. Okay, so Mitram can understand anyone. Okay, and it's not only just understand, it's ASR algorithms, speech recognition algorithms in Mitram is able to, it is based on the Google Euphonia project. So you can just Google out the Google Euphonia. Just after this, I'll show you that. So it is able to understand, it is able to communicate in a very sympathized and I would say customized manner. Then it is also having a, it's like a human being. It's not that we are trying to replace a human being in the context, because they have been seen humans in and around. We want to bring in a human character itself with all the design terminologies around it. And it's like, it communicates like a human. Okay, so whatever is required, storytelling. So it never gets bored. That's the most important point here. Okay, so the AI algorithms have been maintained in such a way that, so always it tries to communicate, it always tries to ask questions, it always tries to make him more energetic, motivated. Because, you know, as a special educator, we might say 10 times, 11 times, but 12th time we might get bored. We will not go it, we'll get frustrated. But when it comes to a robot never gets frustrated. So that's where we wanted to bring in that mundane kind of an activity and bring in the larger spectrum of I would say collaboration with the specially abled society, especially the educators. So they use these robots for now teaching along with them. It's not that only the robot is teaching alone, but along with the actual human being, and bringing more faster learning ecosystem. That's what we are trying to do with Alibo. So you can see a small video of Alibo. So it's coming under our Cara brand. So that's the whole story of Alibo. Just before I stop my presentation, I just wanted to just show you one more thing before I come to an end. I will just so there are a lot of things happening, but at least thought of showing you the Google Euphonia project, since you might have not heard about it. So this is a very interesting project. Can you see my screen, team?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this is specifically for people as like Anugrah, and there are a lot of people now, as I told you, in 100 people, it's like 2 to 3 people are having speech issues. So you can also contribute to this project if you have a person.
Google has very good general speech recognition, but if you do not sound as most of people, it will not understand you.
You saw how he's speaking.
No one's ever collected large data sets of people whose speech is hard for others to understand.
People who have multiple sclerosis, for GF, who had stroke, who stutter.
They're not used in training the speech recognition models. I mean, the game is to record things.
What's the temperature today?
And then have it recognize things that you say that aren't in the training set. Dimitri recorded 15,000 phrases. It wasn't obvious that this was going to work. He just sat there and he kept recording.
We need to make all voice interactive devices be able to understand any person who speaks to them.
You can see that it's possible to make a speech recognizer to work for Dimitri. It should be possible to make it work for many people, even people who can't speak because they've lost the ability to speak. The work that Shenxing has done on, voice utterances, from sounds alone, you can communicate. But there might be other ways of communicating.
Most people with ALS end up using an on-screen keyboard and having to type each individual letter with their eyes. For me, communicating is slow.
Steve might crack a joke and it's related to something that happened, a few minutes ago. The idea is to create a tool so that Steve can train machine learning models himself to understand his facial expressions. To be able to laugh, to be able to cheer, to be able to boo. Things that seem maybe superfluous, but actually are so core to being human.
I still think this is only the tip of the iceberg. We're not even scratching the surface yet of what is possible. If we can get speech recognizers to work with small numbers of people, we'll learn lessons which we can then combine to build something that really works for everyone.
To understand and be understood is absolutely unbelievable.
So yes, as Dimitri says, to be understood and to be understand is really difficult. And that is what we are trying to do, include everyone in the society and bring everyone and make dream people to achieve their own dreams and also bring them with a huge change in the quality of their life. So before I end, the last thing which I thought is, if you feel that you want to contribute with your knowledge using AI, you know how Euphony is a completely core AI algorithm that works in the background, especially deep speech, which again, you can read a lot of papers around it. So we have been using this project, we have been contributing this project, and we are also trying to use this project now for our ASR models, that is automatic speech recognition. Finally, I'll just also show you something. You also already know that, but I think you should be knowing about the Google low-code platform. One minute. So you can just go to the teachable machines. Okay. So this, we have been using this extensively now, the teachable machine for ALS. Very recently also we have been working with the ALS person to enable some of his gestures from this perspective. You can launch this experiment and you can play around. If you want to contribute using AI to a person who is socially relevant, and if you want to be socially relevant in that particular segment, this is a beautiful place. If you don't know core AI also, you can just go there, train your algorithm with whatever posture, or there are 3 different things that needs to be done. You have to gather the data, train it, export it. Everything is available here. There are 3 types in which you can do it, with poses, with sounds, images, because like some people cannot move, but they can produce sound. Okay, through sounds you can they can communicate to the external world. So we have been doing this for almost like 3 to 4 children. Poses, we do it for exercises, and images specifically for people who are able to move their hands and all. So this is a beautiful one. If you don't know AI coding also, you can do this because it's very simple, very easy. Download the model, put it in your mobile phone and give it to us if you want to contribute more into the segment. So with this, I'll come to an end. So that's how technology is changing the world, and how technology is bringing a larger, I would say, a larger quality of life to people who are wanted, and the diversity and the inclusion. Thank you so much, and over to you for questions.
Thank you, Robin, for that wonderful session. It was placing at the number 100. It was a great session. So, Robin, can you make Smita as host?
Sure.
We'll go.
1 minute.
Yeah, we'll watch the message from CEO, and then we'll wind up.
It's Pradidwani, Robin.
Pradidwani, no? Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, I've done.
Yeah, thank you. Able to hear?
No, it's not audible.
Yeah. For some reason, it's. Can you try now? Now also it's not audible, right? I was facing this issue earlier also. That's why we can post it in the page and close it. Is that fine?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, let's wind up then. Thanks, Robin, for that wonderful session. Thank you all for joining. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin.